Good morning and welcome to the Business Brunch. So, who uses Xero? I know a lot of us on this particular Business Brunch do, and we're welcomed today by Donna Torres from Xero. Donna, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Brilliant. Not so bad, Donna. We're just saying how we've both been working from home for just over a year, and I'm sure a lot of your clients have been. And you're based out of the offices in Milton Keynes, you were saying?
Yes. Milton Keynes is where our main headquarters is for UK.
And any plans to go back, or?
Well, hopefully at some point when we're allowed back in. I think it will be a staged process allowing people back in. But yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great to see people actually in person. I think that'd be nice.
It certainly would be. So could you give us a little bit of background about your role and what you do at Xero, and maybe sort of the bigger picture of Xero and how it's propelled in growth over the last few years?
Yeah, so certainly I joined Xero in 2014. So I'm actually probably just days away from my 7-year anniversary, which is pretty incredible. So seen a lot of change at Xero. And it's great. It's grown rapidly since then. So it's Xero is business accounting software. So born in the cloud, and for small businesses to use in terms of the cloud technology, using any device, any place, any time to send invoices or online payments, etc. So it's a great tool, not just for small businesses, but also in collaboration with accountants. And so they are another key channel for us to support small businesses through Xero, using Xero.
And so you're director of small business.
Oh yes, that's my title. Yes, so actually,
I should have introduced you as that, to be fair.
Well, actually, I'm GM of our direct small business sales. So that's a global role. So looking after all our regions, so Australia, New Zealand, US, UK, of all of our small business teams for the kind of the direct space, which is direct to our small business customers. Fantastic,
brilliant. Well, I won't ask you any more questions because I know our guests this morning are eagerly awaiting the opportunity to ask you. So I'd like to welcome, we've got Joe Bentley from the Henley Coaching Partnership, Stuart Elliston from Freeths, Emma Bullock from Chapman Robinson & Moore, Steve Cook from V Purposeful Strategy, and Stephen Spencer from Stephen Spencer and Associates. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How are we all?
All good.
Very good. Yeah.
Very well.
Good stuff. So you've all got 2 questions each. So we're going to try and rattle through them as not as quickly as possible, but give you all enough opportunity. So Stuart, you're going to kick off with your first question.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Donna, it's great to meet you. And my question to you is, what was the winning formula that helped you take a standard sales team and turn them into global award winners overnight?
Okay, yeah. So I think it's really important actually that building a human connection with your team is super important, especially in the world that we've faced in the last year. And so whether you're connecting just one-to-one or as a team video call, or even when we can do a socially distanced face-to-face when that's possible. But one thing that we've had to do is really adapt and just make sure we're taking the time to connect with our team, especially in this environment, asking how they're doing and how are you really doing. It's definitely just trying to get that combination between professional but personal, because we know that a lot of people have had to juggle things like homeschooling and working, on their kitchen counter. So we've had to really just make sure that our teams are equipped and are happy to and in the best place, sort of mentally as well, in the right frame of mind to approach their day with everything that's going on. So we also make sure that we're checking in with the team to say, is it the right time to talk? How best do you want to talk? How frequently do you want to talk? Because I think probably, like most businesses at the start of the lockdown, there was over communication, I think, just to make sure. But we've really, basically just connecting with them, being human, and just making sure that we're approaching it really positively and that we're supporting the team. And one of the things that we try to keep going is coaching and making sure that we're supporting and enabling our teams to be in the best possible place to approach this new environment that they're working from, and to keep doing the great job that they do.
Thank you, Donna.
Okay.
Fantastic. I won't worry about over communication, Donna. I'm sure as this lot will testify, B4 are guilty of over communication pretty much every day of the year. So,
well, I think not too much when there's morning meetings, afternoon, and then close-out meetings for them. So,
Joe, your first question, please.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Donna. Thanks, Richard. Donna, you have transformed the team, haven't you, from a small sales team to a global award-winning team. We work in the SME space too, and one of the things that we find business owners get stuck on is selling. You know, the actual process of selling. You know, what would be the 3 key pieces of advice you would give someone who finds a selling situation difficult?
Yeah, I think I've spoken to sort of small business owners who love running that, but hate that part of it. And so I think it's not to be daunted by it. It's really about, so something that we do, and I think especially this year, is about making sure that you're really understanding and changing the way that you adapt to customers, that you're really listening to them. So ask lots of questions, really be inquisitive, find out what it is that they need to solve, or the problems they're facing, or what they need. But really dig deep for those valuable insights. So it's just about, I think selling is like a scary word, but it's really just asking questions. Ask questions, be inquisitive, and try to understand what customers need or want. But also then remember to be human. You're just talking to someone, make sure that you're connecting with them. Try and focus on their goals or aspirations, so that whatever you're selling, whether it's a service or a product, you can make sure that you place it in the best possible way to meet what they're looking for. But another piece is don't assume, don't make any assumptions about what they might think they need. Again, just ask and clarify. And one of the most important things is, and lots of people don't do this, is play back the information just to make sure you've heard what they're looking for. So just to show that you've listened. And if you haven't quite grasped everything they need, that's a great time for them to interject and update you. So I think, inquisitive, ask questions, listen, really important, be human, and never assume, just ask questions and try and get the real kind of detail.
Perfect, thanks.
Excellent. Xero Virgin, Stephen Spencer.
Oh, thank you for that, Richard. Hello, Donna. Very nice to meet you. And by the way, you really speak my language as a customer experience specialist, and everything you just said there in your answer to Joe. So as Richard so delicately put it, I'm new to Xero.
I wouldn't do it in any other way, Stephen.
Completely sold on it by my accountant. And so I'm really looking for just basic ways that I can use it to improve my business performance. What would you say?
Yeah, okay. So, there's loads of fabulous features, which I'm sure your accountant will also walk you through. So a couple of great things is bank feeds. So we get told all the time that this is one of our most important features, and also it's one of the best time-saving features in Xero. And so Xero connects with thousands of bank accounts all over the globe, and will securely bring in your bank statement lines into Xero on a daily basis. And so with just a click, you can start reconciling these transactions. So really quick, really easy. And I think some customers have referred to it as gamification. So I wouldn't want to say that. But the other thing is things like accepting payments online. So that cash flow for small businesses is really important. You can connect with Stripe or go cardless and get paid twice as fast with just a pay now button on your online invoices. So really simple, safe, secure, and it means that small businesses can get paid much quicker. So a couple of really kind of key features if you're quite new. There's lots.
That's it. That sounds great. Thank you.
I thought you were going to ask all about double entry then as well, Stephen, and real detail.
I'm still a virgin, remember? So
one step at a time.
No, I didn't. Oh my God, what have I said? Right, Stephen, swiftly on. Stephen Cook.
Good grief, how do I follow that?
I don't know, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Lovely to meet you, Donna. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas with us today. We're living in a really complex technology world, one way or another, which I think is a bit daunting for small businesses to navigate their way through. From your market insights and your research and certainly your customer interactions, one way or another, what do you think are the key tech changes that will most affect SMBs in the next 2 to 3 years? And what should we prioritise as our tech make ready focal points?
Yeah, so I think we recently commissioned some research, which was small business megatrends. And so what we know is that certainly small businesses will have analytical and technology power of corporate giants, which they've lacked. So I think, certainly for things like, so cash flow became a really big prominence in 2020. Experts think that's going to be a trend that's going to carry on into this year. And we know that 70% of small business owners have actually experienced cash flow difficulties. So what we'll see, I think, is a really huge increase in the number of tools that start to offer these predictive financial insights. So helping small businesses to really just go beyond analysing not only their past performance, but enabling them to start predicting the future. And so, technology does already allow businesses to be paid on time, but I think attitudes and ethics will start to change. And the other big thing is that access to capital will become much more available as we see a rise in alternative lenders. And we know that the agility of SMEs will make it much easier for them to make the most of all of these new tools and these opportunities. And so with that, alongside stronger insights from accountants, which are really important, we'll start to help them to kind of punch above their weight and start to level that playing field with corporates, which they just haven't been able to do. And I think that accountants will have a much bigger role to play as we move forward. And also governments will need to really mobilise advisors as part of our wider economic recovery. So that's probably
that's a good answer. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So over to one of those accountants, Emma Bullock.
Hello. Hi, Donna. I just want to know, when it comes to leadership styles, what advice would you give to the CEOs of small businesses who are currently expanding and scaling up?
Yeah, so I think it's quite interesting when you watch managers or people go into management positions and think it's quite easy to lead and manage people, and it's quite different. And so I think for leadership can be quite hard and quite lonely, and you have to make tough choices that sometimes you don't want to make. And also when you're a small business, you're doing that on your own, so you don't get that positive feedback from others or any coaching that you might need. There are obviously small business forums, people can join and get the support and advice. There's lots of them, but I think for a small business, it's about finding other ways to, keep up your mental resilience and also your sense of optimism, no matter how hard it might seem. And I think also that, I think if you're true to yourself and you've got to make those tough decisions, so long as you know in your heart of your hearts that they are the best decisions, then that's really the best you can do, I think.
Thank you, that's great.
Thank you. Back to Stuart.
Thanks, Richard. My final question, Donna, obviously over the last 12 months, there's been discussion from various businesses or mention of how they've talked about pivoting to deal with the pandemic. Would you say that you've adopted such an approach? Did you pivot? And if you did, what was it?
Yeah, gosh, I think like lots of people, I think that first of all, I personally found it was quite a challenge. I think suddenly it became really blurred between home and work life, and so really had to think about how best to do that, because I think initially everyone thought it might only be for a short period of time. But I think that something that our MD said is that a while ago when it started was really be kind to yourself, don't put yourself under lots of pressure, take time out if you need it. And so for working in a global role, sometimes I'll start early, finish late. So it's about finding that balance in my day so that I wasn't working like all of these hours. So lots of regular breaks, take a breather if needed, get out, get some fresh air, take pleasure in the small stuff as well, be grateful, and just do what you need to do, connect with other people just to kind of stay sane and make sure that you're I think at that point realize that I get lots of my energy from being around people. So that was quite a, kind of knew it, but I think then suddenly lockdown brought that to the forefront. So and then just things that ignite my passion. So reading articles, keeping and making sure I know what my purpose is and keeping sort of focused on that. So yeah, it took a bit of a learning curve, I think, and I think that probably applies for lots of people. But making sure also trying to be positive, because other people are dependent on me to kind of set the tone as well.
Thank you, Donna.
Hopefully that's not too much different from lots of other people.
I think a lot of what you just said resonated with all of us. So thank you. Joe, back to you.
Thanks. Hi, Donna, again. Just touching on Stuart's question, just about, how important do you think personal development is, and growth and learning, especially when you're creating and trying to maintain a high performing team?
Yeah, so I think in all the roles and at Xero, so personal development is super important for us, not just as individuals, but also for our teams. So being able to understand where we're really strong, areas where we might need to improve, and just being able to kind of focus on whatever goals we need. So personally, I get lots of satisfaction from not only just supporting the team, but also helping them to realise and reach their full potential. So there's lots of importance placed on lots of development, coaching, mentoring, and especially in Xero, where we are kind of a business that moves at pace, we just need to make sure that we're equipping the team with all the skills that they need to be successful. So it is really, really important for us. You should be pleased to know, because
Okay.
Excellent, thank you. Stephen Spencer.
Hi, Donna. You'll be pleased to know we're on safer ground with this question.
Okay.
I see that Xero's announced it's become carbon neutral. Congratulations. Can you tell us how you've achieved that, and also why it's important to you as a business?
Yeah, so we are so proud of that happening, and it's really, really important for us at Xero. So it really does demonstrate the commitment to offset like 100% of our carbon emissions, and we called it Net Zero at Xero program. And so what we decided to do, there was a number of things that we changed in order to reach that. So things like purchasing carbon neutral electricity across a number of our offices, looking at reducing electricity consumption via some different measures within offices that we're able to control, reducing waste production, lots of recycling initiatives as well. So it was just really important. And one of the big things as well, not just this year, but we definitely looked at, right, do we need to travel? So we wanted to really minimize our carbon intensive travel options, such as like air travel, being a business that we are. So there was a whole bunch of initiatives. So it's been really, it's really important for us to have gained that.
Absolutely fantastic. Did you say why it was important, by the way?
So I think, it's just, I think to do a bit for, really for the environment. So I think it was just an accreditation not only we wanted to get, but we wanted to keep, just to show that we are really, it's a really important part of what we're doing as a business. And I think it also lends itself to our values as well as a global business. So yeah, so it's, as I say, it's great that we got it, and now we want to keep that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Cook, your final question.
Well, fantastic on carbon neutral. Congratulations for that. That's really excellent.
I know.
Coming sort of back down to earth a little bit in terms of the technology, and it's an associate point to my first question. Really, many SMBs aren't that tech savvy. I spend a lot of time around tech enterprises, and I'm not tech savvy either, so it's kind of hard to manage your way through all of that. So my question is, do the Xero platforms integrate with other platforms and tools being used by SMBs and SaaS platforms and so on, to provide 360-degree forecasting and sales predictors and platforms like that, so that they get the SMBs get a really sort of complete view? And I would extend that in a way, given your previous answer, to accountants and how that works, particularly in terms of working out future investments and things like that.
Yeah, so very good question. So Xero is fantastic on its own, but the beauty of Xero is that actually it connects with over 800 third-party apps within our ecosystem. So we offer lots of different types of apps for different sorts of businesses and different business needs that they might want to look into. So one of those would be, say, like your forecasting space. So we have a number of different apps within that Xero just connects straight into. So one of them is called Futurely. So they integrate with us. And they've got a really smart hybrid forecasting technology. So looks at not just your short-term cash flow, so taking in your invoices and bills, but also that medium to longer term predictions. So looking at historical performance. And so then it really gives small businesses a level of accuracy. And so this is just one app. Obviously, there's so many more. But with regards to the accountant, so the great thing is with Xero and inviting in your accountant, then you can have those conversations about cash flow, because they'll also be able to understand, see. And so accountants aren't just in that traditional sense we used to think years ago, just kind of crunching the numbers. They become support for small businesses and advising them, small business, on what they might need to do, what might be important for them, how to even invest in the right way, or think about what that cash flow forecast looks like for the future, so they can really offer that next level advice. That's why accountants and bookkeepers are really important to not only small businesses, but for Xero to connect with them.
Fantastic. That's great, and that must apply when it comes to looking particularly at alternative funding and investment.
Yes.
To have that clarity, and that's really good line of sight to the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if we get much more in that space, then having the advisor to be able to direct that small business and be able to see how healthy it is in order to access that capital is going to be really great for small businesses in a way that it hasn't been before.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. And finally, Emma Bullock.
Hello again. I just wondered what you do to get the most out of the people you lead and manage on a day-to-day basis, and what you think makes a good leader.
What makes a good leader?
Yeah, a great leader. What kind of aspects?
Yeah, so I think I said before, I think we certainly for managing a team, it's all about that kind of personal connection. And being really kind of human with the team. So yeah, I would just say that I think actually our R&D said that when we've you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person either in the team, or the smartest person. It's not about that when you're leading. Actually, it's about creating the right environment, having the right people around you. And so I think that, being a leader is about really being positive, being really determined, making sure that you're focusing on the right answers and the best outcomes for the team and the business, and making sure that you're able to harness all of that knowledge from within the team. So I think lots of people, and certainly traditionally years ago, it used to be that if you was going to be a leader, you had to know everything about everything. And that just isn't the case these days. I think it's about bringing the right people so that you've got collectively the best people to move forward or achieve whatever goals that you're looking to do. And it's about being able to harness those people and work without the fear of failure, and make sure that you're focused on whatever those goals might be, but bringing in the team around you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well, I really appreciate your time this morning. I know Joe, Emma, Steve, Stephen, Stuart, we're really looking forward to this morning's session, and I'm sure you've all got a lot out of it. Great opportunity to have a chat with you, and hopefully we'll keep in touch and we'll get you back again soon. So, and hopefully you can get back into the office in the not too distant future.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be great. See some real people.
Brilliant. Lovely to meet you, and
Thank you.
thanks everybody for joining us this morning, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.